she has to only focus on following my rein aid, staying on this circle, staying in rhythm, keeping the same tempo, that I can make adjustments forward and back. She's only following the rein aid and the leg aid, no matter what the distraction. Try a little more speed. Whenever you add more speed to something, of course, less reaction time. Quicker reaction time in the horse. Has less time to think, more chance to think that it's a bad idea. Good. Good girl. So not bad. I do a lot in hand, I do a lot sometimes with the double lunge, and sometimes in the pillars, this kind of traditional classical way. I'm riding a lot of things I do are not very classical, but some of the things I do are very classical. So, but I just want to make the point that it doesn't matter if I'm in the classical riding arena of the Spanish riding, or I'm piaffing a horse under a big machine. So, you just make a quick gear change. And the other thing I want to demonstrate with this is the response training. I want to teach the horses to really take ownership of what they're doing, to really own what they're doing, understand it, have the knowledge that when I ask for something, it's then their responsibility to do the job and to do it on their own. When I ask, I want them to start something and I want them to continue because they know the job, because they can take responsibility for it. So the piaffe is a perfect example for that, where I'd like here to be able to start her, she piaffes by herself, no matter what the environment, and she continues to piaffe without me putting a spur on, without me continuing to tell her to go. But she continues by herself, cross-tie in the classical way, in between the pillars, but for welfare of the horse and being in such a big environment, we thought otherwise than tying her to a big machine. So I have two handy helpers here that are going to be pillar 1 and pillar 2, and then we are going to see if we can get something to happen. So pillar 1, pillar 2. This is looking very classical, isn't it? Really ornate archway. So I want to be able to start just the warming up. So just she starts relaxed. She goes from the club. Or she's not sure if it's you guys talking or me. Good girl. Good. Oh. Now I'm going to go to another position, just to show you that it can be done from anywhere, and that she's going from the club, from a verbal conversation, not a physical conversation, but a verbal conversation. Club means piaffe. And then she continued to keep going. When I'm in this position, here I'm here. Can you just back her up a little bit? Just remind them. She's half asleep. Yeah. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Yeah. So then I give a small treat for being good. Yeah. And then we try to see if she'll offer more. So the importance of me stopping every time is that she starts to think, oh, if I'm offering this, the more I offer, the more he gives me, the more I get to stop. ladies and gentlemen. He's not touching me, he's not saying anything. I'm just piaffing, I'm 6 years old. When I hear the cue, when he tells me to stop, I stop. Oh. Good girl. Very good. Okay, you can clap again. Just one last thing. Again, I just want to show the level of being able to take the energy up in a horse and take the energy level down in a horse. So she's been piaffing under a machine, a high level energy stunt. She's now hopefully going to show you a very low level energy stunt. Not a stunt, but a training method. Of course, my staff are not having my tools in place, so we can just improvise. I just wanted our tools to go. So again, the horse is able to be relaxed after piaffing. So after the piaff, she can make an extended walk. After the piaff and the passage up the centre line, she's able to halt. After the piaff under the machine, she's able to lay down very gracefully. And then she's able to have another distraction. They can make these, what we think is very threatening, she thinks is very normal. What's normal about being a dressage horse is whatever my trainer is telling me. What's normal about being able to do whatever he wants me to do. Should we lay down again? Let me tell you again. Doesn't matter if it's a dressage horse, a jumping horse, a wrestling horse. They all work the same, they all function the same. Don't get trapped in a system and style of riding. Learn how the horse learns, and we have a very exciting future. Thanks very much.
What you do is desensitizing. You get a new stimulus, and you get them to not respond as it is fearful,
yes.
Which is the definition of desensitization.
Yes.
Actually, to me, that's what it is. And there was a nice example here that they don't get dull, because your horse, the 6-year-old, spooked at the beginning at the applause, but didn't spook at a lot of things that it knew. Yeah. So you don't get dull horses if you desensitize them, because it's specific to certain stimuli.
Yeah.
So to me, I wondered, why do you insist that it is not desensitization?
I just not so much want to say that all desensitizing is about dulling the horse. But anything that is repetitious and continuous will become something that is numb to the horse. They will no longer respond. They get shut down, and they're no longer responding, they're just ignoring. So not so much about that it's no part of it is desensitized, but more focused on it being a response, that they're learning a response, not a method of shutting something down or ignoring it or having something done over and over and over again until they get used to it. And sure, you're always going to have certain aspects of desensitizing when you expose a horse to things. But at the same time, when I'm teaching a horse something, I never want to think, a bit like the trainer of Adelinda said, don't do an exercise over and over and over and over until the horse is tired of doing it. You know, 1 or 2 or 3 times, when the horse gives a good response, stop. And the horse looks like giving a good response, stop. So that you're teaching them these responses. I want my horses to respond in a positive way to the environment, and I want them to respond in a positive way to my leg aid.